episode 402 of In Touch with iOS, the podcast that keeps you connected to the ever-changing Apple ecosystem. I am your host, Dave Ginsburg. Each week, we break down the latest news, updates, tips, and hidden features across iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Mac, Vision Pro, and Apple TV, all with insights from friends, experts, and the Apple community. Because here we read the release notes so you don't have to. So let's see who's here this week. Happy New Year to everybody. The first episode of 2026. And let's go in order. Everybody joined here. Jill McKinley, you are here. How are you doing, Jill? Happy New Year.
Oh, gosh, I'm doing great. Happy New Year to you, too. I am just glad. This week, I always know the first week in January, everyone comes back, ready for work. And I'm like, ugh. So good. It's to the end.
Yes, we've been back in the grind this week. So, and then Marty Jencius, how you doing? Happy New Year! Glad you're here.
I'm doing good. New Year's was good. I slept most of the holiday away. I was just nodding off all the time I could, and got a few podcasts done in the process. But start back up work on Monday. So semester starts again, and we're all in gear then, teaching and such.
Yep. Eric Bolden is here. How you doing, Eric?
Almost caught up on my vacation sleep.
Yeah, you had quite the trip. Glad you're back and back in the saddle here. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Guy Serle. He's here. How you doing, Guy?
Yeah, I always wonder, do I fall into friends or experts or just general riffraff when it comes to this show?
I think
I'm kind of guessing riffraff.
Yeah, we'll put you in friends.
Maybe you're just the release note reader. Maybe, that's it.
That could be it. So we've got some breaking news coming up here in just a minute, and we'll talk about the usual things, Vision Pro, in touch with Mac, and some other topics. And we'll hit upon some CES stuff, too, as well. There was a few stories out there. Hopefully we get to hear from Chuck Joyner next week and hear how his adventures were this week, because he's there that week this week, why he's not here with us. But let's go ahead and talk about what just got announced, which is absolutely crazy. Chase is going to become the new issuer of the Apple Card. This is the actual press release. And today, it was yesterday when this was announced, as we're recording, they will become the new issuer of the Apple Card with an expected transition to take 24 months. Apple users will be able to continue to enjoy the award-winning experiences of Apple Card, including 3% unlimited cash back on certain purchases, which is usually Apple and others. And you'll have access to high yield savings, and it'll still stay with MasterCard. So, and they've gone through a lot of stuff here, talking about they're thrilled the way this is going to be and all this stuff. But let's talk about the real news. This is the fact that there's $20 billion in credit card charges on this. So it's a little bit crazy, I must say. They did it. It only took 2 years of us talking about it for it to finally happen. I'll grab the other article that was talking about the actual meat potatoes. This was actually the Wall Street Journal article that was out there, and they basically gave the details, and it said they have approximately about 20 billion in outstanding card balances, and they're going to give Chase a $1 billion discount. This is to people familiar with the matter. And they say with most co-brands, balances with premium at a premium up to 8%, a figure that is run into double digits for the strong programs. Discounts are rare, and it's reserved to the most challenged cases. So I think what's going to end up happening is that I'm a little worried about the savings account. It may go to its own savings account. I'm going to go on the assumption that Chase is going to still manage it, but it may not. It may even stick with Goldman Sachs, and they may just do the savings account only and not the of course not the credit card anymore. So let me start with Marty. What do you think about this whole ordeal?
I started following this yesterday, and it was at that time it was bits and pieces without any details. So you might be more up on the details than I am. I'm excited that it landed somewhere. I think Goldman Sachs is taking a bit of a bite to get out of it. I mean, they're giving up something, and they're trying to figure out how to resolve the credit card debt that's already there. The thing that I heard about the bank account, or that I read about the bank account, or I guess the Apple cash back, is the idea that that's going to happen at the end of a cycle instead of daily, because now you kind of get your daily cash back. And so one of the ways that they can recoup or reduce their losses is to do that cash back at the end of the cycle. And then I read somewhere else that everybody's getting issued new cards.
Yeah, they were talking about that.
With branding, with the, JP Morgan branding on it, as well as Apple.
Well, which makes sense. Because right now,
that kind of makes sense.
I hope they keep the card the same. I love the metal, titanium like it is now.
Yeah.
And keep it the way it is. It's just, but that makes sense. If it's their card, they want their name on it. So that completely makes sense.
When I first got the Apple card, somebody said, "What are you going to do with it?" I said, "I'm going to cut my steaks with it."
Yeah. That makes about sense. How about you, Guy? What did you think of this news?
I'm not surprised. Goldman Sachs, I think, was a poor fit to begin with. They don't really have I mean, they're I don't even know if they issue credit cards from their bank, but they certainly weren't ready for what the Apple card was going to entail. And I think JP Morgan / Chase is a much better fit than Goldman Sachs was. But, there's going to be some changes coming up with it, and we're probably not going to be happy about some of those changes. But it's, it's got to move forward right now. Because I do the G-Men podcast with Gaz, and every time this comes up, he's like, well, we don't have it over here. So, maybe this will finally take it and make it a little more international.
Yeah. And how about you, Eric?
Yeah, actually make it more international and be kind of nice.
It would be.
The savings account, I think it almost sounded like the comments of "we'll give more information later" mean that maybe they haven't totally figured that out yet. I'm hoping that the general interface stays the same. The way of interacting with things kind of stay the same. I'd really been hoping that it would switch from MasterCard to Visa, because every time I go to Costco, I can't use it.
There's that.
But other than that, it looks like it will still be around, and that's good. And we'll just kind of have to wait to see what happens. But so far, I have kind of a positive outlook.
Yeah. No, we'll see how it goes. 24 months. That's a long time from now. 2 years. So that's business as usual. So nothing's going to change. We'll still get all the perks we're getting so far. We hope, but I guess it has to get approved. I'm sure regulators have to look at it and all that fun stuff. So you can't expect this is going to be an immediate thing here. So, but it's great to see that it's going here. So, we'll look at the chat here at youtube.com/intouchwithios. Wither Bucket, thanks for being here. Webb Bixby, he's out in Florida and soaking up the sun, but glad you're here to join us tonight as well. And then the others in the chat are with us as well. So you always can join us in the chat while we're live recording this show. And it's great to see you. So that was it with the Apple Card here. So let's move on to a couple stories with the Vision Pro this week. Again, it was a pretty slow week, considering, especially in Vision Pro area, and we had a bit of a struggle with Vision Profiles this past week. So, but for one of the interesting stories was the fact that they so that was it with the Apple Card here. So let's move on to a couple stories with sorry, I got the sound hitting me here. Apologize. So the immersive Los Angeles Lakers game is going to come to Vision Pro. Actually, it's going to be tomorrow as we record this. Apple Vision Pro owners are going to be able to see a immersive video format on Friday, January 9th, that Apple has said with this. They're partnering with Spectrum to air the LA Lakers games in 3D in the Spectrum Sportsnet and NBA apps. And the Apple immersive basketball games will be available to the Vision Pro users only in the Lakers regional broadcast territory, which means Southern California, Hawaii, and parts of Southern Nevada. So you will have to have that subscription in order to be able to see it. So people in other areas, the immersive replays and highlights probably will be available nationwide in select international markets. So something new here to see where this has been going. Eric, what do you think about this?
I wish it was in a greater area, but I think that because of bandwidth and it's kind of new and they're trying to kind of get everyone used to it and they don't want to have any problems across the entire country, they're being a little more careful. It sounds like there'll be a wider release like the following day.
Mm-hmm.
Not for everybody, but if you have an account. The comments that have come back on the samples from have been really good. So kind of looking forward to it. Currently, I don't have an account and I can't see it.
Oh,
but
I don't think any of us can. We don't live out there.
Yeah, well, but having more sports immersive and the fact that it's happening at all, I think is a really good sign.
Yeah. And Guy, you like the NBA? Do you watch NBA basketball?
Sometimes I do. I'm really looking forward to the 3D content.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We got you. I think we can leave that at that. Oh my gosh.
Binocular disparity.
Yeah.
It's not right. It's just not right.
Yeah. Jill, what do you think?
Well, I don't watch the NBA, but I did mention that I think it's terrible how hard it is to be a sports fan right now in general. And I think anything that can make sports fans' lives better and more interesting, I think it's great.
Good. And Marty, you're muted.
I'm excited to see the bits and pieces of it. If it's more immersive content, it's more things for me to look at and enjoy within the Vision Pro, whether I'm a sports fan or not. I remember, I think one of the first pieces that came out was that summary of the soccer final or soccer special that came out that was 3D immersive, and that was kind of an wow effect. So it's nice to see at least they're distributing crumbs to the rest of us who don't live in that area.
Yeah. So, let's talk a little bit about the M5 Vision Pro launch. It's likely has likely made minimal sales impact. There was a report about this, and it's they say they estimate the sales at about 45,000 units. The M2 came out in February 2024. M5 just came out. Was it a few months ago? What was it, Marty? Maybe 3, 4, or 5 months ago.
Well, I think it's been a little longer than
maybe
that.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're saying because it outlines that there were low sales estimates in Q4 of 2025, significant digital advertising reduction, and overall VR device declines. So this is a report from IDC. So they're claiming that it's 45,000 units says we're expected to sell in 2025, which included the launch of the M5 model. Again, it's all speculation. We don't know what it is. And, like I say, Apple is doomed. The Vision Pro is doomed, right?
Yeah.
Every time.
One of the big themes from the last week, if there was anything in Vision Pro, it was that all of the media's decided to do a hit job on Vision Pro and its release. So this report rippled through everything.
Yeah.
So every media outlet was picking up how the Vision Pro's dead, how they've cut back 95% of their advertising on it, during the holidays. And this is a 1 quarter figure, and it conflicts with how many that were produced or were projected to sell, according to Ming Chi Kuo. I put it in our chat room, and I'll definitely put it into the show notes.
Yeah.
The Apple Insider article called "Analysts Need Apple Vision Pro to Be a Flop, Whether Apple Considers It One or Not." And that article really kind of talks more about how media is taking on the Apple Vision Pro during this holiday season, and as a result, it really turns the numbers don't add up.
Mhm.
No one's checking the numbers. No one's really getting the numbers, but they're spinning this meme about it being a failure. At the same time, it's making money for Apple. It's producing. So the article is good in and of itself, but the comments by the people who chose to comment on this whole issue of media and media coverage of the failure of Apple Vision Pro are really good and actually very informative. They have a lot of thought. The people who put a lot of thought into how this doesn't work out.
Yep.
Well, and realistically, I don't know anyone that would go out and buy an M5 Vision Pro or any other Vision Pro as a gift for somebody.
Right.
It
Better really
really
like 'em.
isn't. It's not a holiday gift item. Businesses will pick it up if you are creating projects. The project will pick one up. You'll pick one up after the holidays if you have any money left. But it's not something where you buy for somebody. So it's kind of silly to do advertising in the holiday season because that's not where people are spending their money. On the other hand, there's still new content coming out. I just finished watching Tron Ares in 3D on Disney.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was really well done.
Okay.
Yeah. The thing also about sales, they keep comparing it to Meta sales. Meta is a product that is a gift you want to give somebody for $300, $400 if you can manage that. It's a gaming device, completely different purpose of having basically a mainframe on your head with an Apple Vision Pro. So trying to make those comparisons. Again, the article that I'll add in I think does a good job of taking this a little deeper in thought.
Mhm.
And Eric's pointed out some of that too.
Yeah. So anybody else want to add anything before we move on?
I just don't think it was meant to be. I think that they probably came up with some use cases, probably in industry that the previous chip wasn't working well with. And so they came up with one with a better chip so that, some business can build a Porsche in 3D, using vision, and it had a use. And I just don't think it was meant to be I just don't even think it was meant to be a blockbuster.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is, new people are buying the M5s. There's not a whole lot of people that had an M2 that are turning around, getting rid of their M2, and then buying an M5.
Yeah.
There are a few.
Yeah.
Marty.
See, the difference is I haven't gotten rid of my M2.
Yeah. Well, your son is itching for you to give it to him. Is what's happening.
So, Jill's still waiting for me to upgrade. I'm working on it. It's getting closer.
Yeah, okay.
But not during the holidays.
No.
So
comments in the chat, Witherbucket just said, just in my casual experience, I don't see good or bad stories about Vision Pro. I just don't see any stories, and certainly no physical store presence where I can see computers and phones and watches. Okay. And then Vision Pro just feels a bit invisible right now. I don't know if I would.
I have to say, in my world too. I mean, I live kind of. I'm an Apple person. I have 1,000,001 Apple things. Yeah. But if it wasn't for the fact I'm working on your podcast and I read all the release notes and I keep apprised of all the news, I wouldn't hear about it much either. Yeah. My way either.
Yeah. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on about beta this week. And there wasn't really much beta, but what Apple did do is we're now testing background security updates as beta testers. I believe this is just developers that are being able to do this. So they did it twice this week. They had the background security 26.0 3A and then B. All it's doing is blank updates. So it's not doing anything other than that, just to test it. So that's what they're looking to do. And this is basically where this is, where you go into you're going into, I believe, yes, you go into privacy and security, and you scroll down, and there's background security improvements. When you go into there, that's going to show you what's installed in here. And I just installed the B on my beta test, the 16E, and it's already pending to wait to restart and install. So I'm wondering how that's going to work with a standard user, as most of who is listening here is. I don't know. People are going to want to be just going in there. I bet it's going to be something automated when it happens. So I don't know if any of you guys who was running beta tried this. Was uneventful, other than the fact that it just quickly installs and reboots and restarts, and that's it. Yeah,
I haven't tried it yet, but the comment in there that it's also removable was of interest.
Yeah, it is interesting.
And I'm hoping that it means that there'll be less fear of installing security updates, because if something goes wrong, you can just undo it.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, I had a friend say, "Oh, good, you can uninstall it," and I'm like, "It's a security update. Why would you do such a thing?"
Yeah. So that's in the beta area. I'll move on. I have some interesting stuff here about In Touch with Mac this week. That update also happened on Mac OS 26.3. I did not try it on my beta one yet. I probably want to see what that does. Usually what those security updates do is just a flash of install. And I've never seen it actually force a Mac to reboot. I can understand an iPhone or an iPad, but so I'll have to try that. I don't know if any of you have tried that yet, but that is interesting to see. That we found this week. But Apple did make some changes to the Mac OS as well as iPad OS. They've now doubled the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi bandwidth for Wi-Fi 6E devices. This is the release of 26.2 for both Tahoe and iPad OS. It's improving the Wi-Fi speeds for select Macs and iPads that support the Wi-Fi 6E. It updated the Wi-Fi connectivity specifications were listed on Apple's platform developed deployment guide, which is the link is in this article. So it's the M4 iPad Pro, of course, the M5. No, the M5 would already have had it. And then the M3 iPad Air, the A17 iPad Mini, the M2 to M5 MacBook Pro models, and then M2, M3, and M4 MacBook Air models. And other Wi-Fi 6E Macs and iPads are now supporting 160 megahertz maximum channel throughput when they're connected to a 5G Wi-Fi network. So you're going to get some pretty decent speeds, looks like, if you're running a more current device. Any thoughts on this, Marty?
I just find it weird that the M1 is already being left behind.
For this, yes. Well, then, you know why? In this case, it's not surprising because most of the M1s don't have 6E.
It's hardware related.
No, but M1, they're still sort of respecting it. In fact, I was going to bring that up. I didn't. It's still a worthy device. I mean, I still have my M1.
Oh, it's a great device.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
But you're not going to get these kinds of updates.
Yeah, because it's not 6E. I mean, the Wi-Fi is probably it's Wi-Fi 5, I believe.
It's just not 6E.
Yeah. So, but. Yeah, I think that's great to see, and interesting to be able to do it and not have to be any hardware updates to it, other than it's a software update instead to help improve the speeds. I'll be curious to try that. Anybody else have any thoughts on this?
I did try it, and it looks. I mean, it's hard to know what you have and what you don't have, but it's good. I'm just wondering, the bottlenecks are going to start to not just be, it's obviously not going to be us. It's going to be whatever lives online, if you're streaming a movie, if you're downloading a file. And so we're at that point where we're just much more fast than anything.
Yep. So moving on, a couple apps. I have to say, rest in peace. I love this app, Mac Updater. Mac Updater has been around for quite a long time. And they decided to walk away, and they put this app into this out to the sunset. they decided they didn't want their promise of lifetime is now until January 1st of 2026. So they did their final update, and it's no longer going to be updated anymore. So it's going to be obsolete pretty gosh darn quickly. So that's kind of sad. Did you guys use Mac Updater at all? I mean, I really liked it
all the time.
Yeah. So
I have in the past. Yeah.
there was a bunch of them out there that I was, Max Sparky on Mac Power Users was showing this, and a number of others. One that really what I really liked was called Up the Test is called here, and it's got a really nice interface. I'm just showing it on the website here, and it works very similar to Mac Update. Now it does. What's really cool about it is it does use Sparkle, which is another platform, as well as Homebrew. So you can get these apps updated through Homebrew's power right from the interface. So I went ahead and tried it, and I've been actually pretty happy with it. It's a pretty good app, and I think to get the full version of it, you pay like $10, and it works on most OSs. But if anybody's dabbled in Homebrew's got a lot of cool apps out there that are that. Any thoughts on this, Guy? Have you used any of these updated programs?
I used to use Mac Update, but I haven't really looked at it in so long. It's kind of a double-edged sword. We get so many more of our applications from the Mac App Store, which is already being updated through there. And of course, the way that most things work now is that when you open up a program, if there's a new version of it, it goes out and checks and comes back and says, "Hey, we have a new version."
Right.
So
which I like.
I end up getting a lot of updates that way.
How about you, Eric? Have you been using any Mac updaters? Were you using a Mac updater before this?
I did a long time ago, and then I stopped because I was doing a bunch of MDM work, and so I was stuck doing the updates so that nobody else had to. Now, I could use something like this, and then
the cool is, if you're a coder, you can get into the guts of this and be actually customize it the way you'd like. I'm not a hardcore coder, but I know how to install Homebrew and work with Homebrew. But I'm going to explore this further. I just the way they created this interface, it's very, very clean, which is kind of cool. And you could try it. You don't have to buy it if you don't want to right off the bat. But it'll be limited to what it can do, of course. But hey, I'm happy to share. Pay a little bit to help with them. Marty,
did you say?
Go ahead, Jill.
Did you say, Dave, that if you use something like Clean My Mac, which also will update your Mac on certain things, it just doesn't catch as many things as the updaters? I've
found with Clean My Mac that it does miss things, because even with when I would go between Mac Updater and Clean My Mac, there were some things that it would miss, because then Mac Updater would, because I guess the database it's hitting may be different. I started comparing it now with this update test, and it seemed to be pretty consistent with it. But having the caveat, the change with being able to do Homebrew, which is installations as opposed to just a direct installer, is kind of a cool thing to be able to try out. But yeah, I've got Clean My Mac. Clean My Mac because I have a set app subscription like many of us here do, and I'm kind of playing. So I like doing this stuff. So I thought I'd call this out to everybody. Any thoughts on this, Marty?
Yeah, I used Mac Updater. I think that and Onyx were two of the first utility kind of programs that I used on a Mac after switching over from PC, and I enjoyed it, and then kind of forgot about it. Okay. I think I actually paid for like a year's subscription a couple of times from it as things got updated. Right. Then I got onto Clean My Mac. Clean My Mac kind of buries the application updates, as part of the process. You kind of have to go looking for it and make decisions on it. Right. And I like that Mac Updater did one thing, pretty much and did one thing really well,
Mhm.
and that's where I would do it. So then I started doing the kinds of things that Jill suggested and that you suggested, Dave, was kind of comparing them to see what missed. And I'd forget about Mac Updater, and then I would go ahead after a couple of months and run it and go, oh, I guess it didn't get this on this app and things like that. And it might have been, as Guy had said, I was running more apps. There were apps out of the store that I was running
Mhm.
that weren't doing the automatic updates, and now
Yeah.
everything seems to be coalescing to either being in the store or at the app site.
Mhm.
They're doing the automatic updates. So
Yep.
I'd forgotten about the need to update programs as much as I used to focus on that.
Yeah. So, another app I found interesting. I was on a roll this week, last past couple weeks, finding all these cool Mac apps. This is an app called Drive Buddy. And what this does is it searches across all your drives, even when they're unplugged. What it does is it does an initial scan of all the external drives that you have, and it goes through, it creates a database. You actually can export and create reports. It gives all kinds of different ways you can flag what things are. It scans everything it is, tells you how much free space is on a specific drive, and all you have to do is you just run through this, and you just type in and search for a file, and it finds the matches on all of your drives. Like, one guy I also linked to a video on YouTube about that did a review on this. He had something like 45 external drives. I certainly hope he doesn't have those all hooked up at once.
Oh.
I have enough trouble with having like 6 or 7 hooked up at once, but the thing is, what he does is he plugs in those drives. It does an initial index of what's on the drive, and then once you plug the drive in after, if you've already copied other files, it'll re-index it. But the one nice thing is it searches across all your drives. You could find all your drives and not having to plug any one of them in, because you'll know where it is and say, oh, let me plug that drive, and that's what I was looking for. I mean, this definitely comes in handy, especially with photographers who have a lot of photos, people who are working with tens of thousands of files. And like I said, you can export this into a CSV file and be able to work with this very, very clearly. And it's $20, and it's a one-time payment, and it'll be fully private. There's no security problems or anything like that. So I thought it was pretty cool. Any thoughts?
It's like a better. Oh God, can't think.
Who do
of
you
it.
spot?
Sorry,
Who do you spot?
I cannot think. It's Command Spacebar. The standard
okay.
search on your Mac.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
This is much more comprehensive, and you can create reports, which is really cool.
And you can export it,
And you can export it, to a CSV file.
which I really like.
Yeah.
So I can keep a copy sitting on my phone of everything I have.
I might have sold it for you.
Yeah. Well, I got two Synology sitting here, so I have a pretty complicated system here where everything backs up to two Synology drives, and then the Synology drive backs up to one of these and then goes to Backblaze. And it would be nice when I'm not at home to know what files I have where.
What was it? Show it again. I missed what you were. Oh, okay, yeah, SanDisk.
It's just a SanDisk.
I have those too.
Extreme. Yeah.
So yeah, this is a cool find. Anybody is interested, the link is in the show notes for their website. And again, there's also a video. A guy reviewed it on YouTube. I linked to that as well. So, all right, let's hit some other topics. In Apple Music, they've really made some strides here, and a couple new features that were added in Apple Music. This is a couple new features that have been added. The full screen animation on the lock screen artwork I think is really cool. I think they've done some great things with that, and they have been experimenting a lot with of the stuff that will be on the lock screen, which is all very cool. And other things that now you have folders, which I think is really cool. The playlist folders you'll actually create. So I start creating folders of some of my playlists instead of having to scan through all of your playlists all the time. And then the other really cool thing is pinned music in your library. You can not only pin a playlist, you can pin a song right in a place, and it's pinned right there now. And this happens across all platforms, iOS, macOS. So some really cool things that have been added to Apple Music. I thought I was pretty pleased with that. So in fact, I've discovered, I once in a while I would listen to probably some like a sleep music or spa music or those kinds of things. And they never really had a really good playlist for that. But recently they just had it on the homepage of they've expanded upon that, because sometimes you go, especially if you're going to, I get acupuncture treatment, that she's always playing all that music, and I think Spotify's had it, and then most of the people go to a physical therapy, like going to physical therapy or acupuncture, or anybody who wants to be calm while they're getting treatment. I never saw Apple Music have this before, so it was kind of cool to see that too. So, anybody have any thoughts on the Apple Music? I know, Marty, you're not a big music listener, but
yeah, but I've looked at this because I kind of promised myself over the break that I would start listening to more music, and actually had a discussion with my wife about it, because I don't listen to music because she doesn't like ambient stuff going on in the house, and so I looked at Apple Music. I have quite an extensive Spotify playlist, but then I started playing with Apple Music, and I'm like, maybe it's time for me to drop Spotify, and just save some cash, focus on the product that I have here already. And, I did use Apple Music. They have like stations like Chill, and they have various stations that I'll listen to for some of that. So they already have some of that bundled in a way. Yeah. And so, yeah, I like the idea of pinned artists and pinned folders, and that's added in that. I really don't care what shows up on my phone when I'm on the lock screen on my phone when I'm listening to music. I'm generally listening it through my studio anyway. So, but yeah, this is enough to convince me, particularly importing playlists that I have in Spotify and doing a music match with it. Probably going to look at dropping the monthly cost of Spotify.
Yeah, probably a good idea. I stuck with Apple Music. I mean, because I have YouTube Premium, I have also YouTube Music comes with it. So, so I go back and forth. I use both, and I've actually YouTube Music lets you actually export your playlist from Apple Music into the YouTube Music. So I have it in both places. So whenever I feel like I got them both, I'm not. Believe me, I think we've had this discussion before. I'm not ending my premium subscription for YouTube. I've had to do it sometimes with these ads. Like, holy crap! What have I not had to miss? Is having these darn ads pop up every five seconds, it seems.
Well, as an instructor, if I want to show a YouTube video in class,
you have to sign in.
I do not want to show it through a whole series of ads.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
The YouTube Premium logging on allows me to just show the video and go with it.
Yep. So
I have a friend of mine, that comes in my car, and they shove XM at you when you get a new car, and that came to an end, and I was going to replace it. So I told her, I said, get me all your playlists, and I'll put them on my phone, and then when we're out tooling around and looking at birds, I'll have all your playlists on my phone. And then I thought, oh, this is great, because then I can put hers in a folder, and kind of shove them aside a little bit. Hopefully it works with CarPlay. I'd like to see how that looks.
That was my question. Does it work with CarPlay?
Good question. Yeah, good question. I mean, as far as
the problem right now with CarPlay is they give you like 5 or 6 and then they cut it off.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. So, next topic I want to hit on really quick is, Logitech did kind of a blunder here. I have this mouse right here, the MX Master 4. They had a certificate that expired, and all of a sudden the mouse stopped working. Whoops. So it was stopping all the application run. Not only is it the mouse, it was also affecting all their lights. So the Logi G and the Logi Options Plus application, because the certificate ran out. So make sure you do your updates on those applications, because you want to be able to do that. And that's what the mouse does when I click the button. So I got these little cool buttons now. So you want that to work. So
right.
Does anybody have this mouse or even an older version?
I do.
Yeah, I have it, and I kind of bought it on recommendations of the holiday shows that had talked about it. And thanks for pointing this article out to me, because I just tried to push all the buttons and they're dead as a doorknob.
Yep.
I mean, I can scroll and I can point and click, but I can't do all the functionality of the software. So I'm going to need to update that.
It's super cool. It's super cool.
And that'll get you killed in any game. So you got to do
And
this.
there's that.
No chance of that happening. I'll live forever when it comes to gaming.
Are we getting to the point now where the Internet of Things is going to include our keyboards and our mice? And that they'll stop working if the manufacturer doesn't play nice and makes a mistake of some kind?
I mean, they work. You just don't get to customize. You probably assigned this button and that button.
But why is your mouse having to go all the way back to Logitech when you go to use it for the first time? I mean, once the application itself that's on your Mac, once that's updated, that should be all you need. It shouldn't have to go back and check a certificate for something like a mouse or a keyboard or a light or any of that stuff. That's a big deal, and
it's weird.
It kind of borders on the edge of anti-privacy in my mind.
Yeah. So, all right.
Well, Guy, it's like HP printers having to go to HP to print anything that you have. That's when I stopped using HP printers.
Yeah. But in this case, I think it's just if you have a driver and it's not just basic mouse behavior. So if you extended the behavior on a driver, that driver still has to have a developer ID certificate and be registered with Apple so that you can download it. This is just a screw up in that somebody forgot to keep that ID certificate live.
Yep. All right. So let's move on. I wanted to cover a little bit about CES 2026. I'm very sad I haven't been able to go for the last few years. I love going to that conference. But next best thing is that I would love to watch all the other folks do all the coverage and find some cool things. I picked this one out just for you, Eric. This is the Bird Buddy. It's a new smart bird feeder. And it debuted with two new smart bird feeders, which are successors of their existing options. It's Bird Buddy 2 and Bird Buddy 2 Mini are going to launch a little later this year. $199. It features a 2K HD video, a wider field of view. It's got dual integrated solar power, better audio, and an improved extended perch, more seed capacity. And this was showed off earlier in the year, but the pre-orders have now sold out, so they're going to have another launched in February of 2026. The Mini is $129 and has the same core camera technology as the Bird Buddy 2, but it comes in a simpler enclosure designed for first-time smart smart bird feeder users that have solar panels, and that's the small one there. So it's kind of cool. Is this something you would use, Eric?
I've been looking at the same feeder for a while, since they originally came out. Yeah, and I see pictures from it, and Jenny keeps saying, "Hey, we should get this," and I just haven't been able to yet. But it's a neat thing, and frankly, I think I would need the extended perch, the extra bird seed, the solar panels, and maybe like an added deck and a small pool. But I think you just keep adding stuff onto it.
Well, you can get those things, but it requires you to go to the subscription model.
Almost worth it.
I have a pretty sophisticated outdoor camera that points to all different places in my backyard with Ring, but you could do it with any company. And I think this would be fun. My friend is thinking about buying one, and it's nice because you get close up. My thing, I get to see the coyotes and the foxes and everything else. This would be nice just to get a nice shot of the birds. So
well, and it's neat too because it's from the feeder out, so you get the bird without having the feeder in the background.
Yep,
which is kind of nice.
So the next one I found was interesting is Google's bringing Gemini AI features to the Google TV, and then previewing what Apple TV could get. I don't know if that's the case or not, but they announced some new Gemini features that's being brought to the Google TVs, built into some TV sets and some set-top boxes, but it might not be immediately relevant to many Apple users. It's giving a look at potentially what AI could do on a TV set. Gemini on the Google TV will be able to answer queries in visual rich framework that offers up imagery, videos, real-time sports updates, and a deep dives feature, which will allow you to get users to get narrated, interactive overviews of topics and such. Have a search through your photos. So I think this is a potential thing that is going to be out there. Well, I mean, let's face it, the Apple TV is getting really long in the tooth. It's been 3 years since that thing has had an update. So
I thought it was longer than that.
It was 2022 was when the 4K came out. So any thoughts on this? I think this is something. I mean, let's face it, AI is here. We're here to stay, and to be able to interact now with a TV, I think it's a cool thing. What do you think, Marty?
I don't know. I can't hear the dialogue. Well, turn the damn thing up. There are all sorts of prompts that they have in the article. That it's sort of, I don't know how deep people get into when they're watching media, tweaking it or trying to get someone to tweak it for them. They just set it up and roll it. I'm not a big fan of smart TVs and those kinds of ways. Yeah. So we're starting to see everything mash up with AI right now, and it's starting to get really sloppy in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts on this?
That thought is that I'm with Marty. I tell my TV you can't be on the internet, and it turns itself back on, and I get super mad. But it's weird because the only time I would do something with it is that sometimes I used to have clips, like video clips from movies and TVs in my podcast, and it would be nice if you could say, "Oh, find me this quote," and then have it search through. But I just don't see a day-to-day use for it. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Like it'd be great if you're doing a TV show podcast or a movie podcast like Marty, but I don't know.
Yep.
Well, this gets back to what I was saying earlier, and if you want a inexpensive 50 to 55-inch television set in the $300 to $400 range, it's going to come from companies that are going to force you to connect it to the internet for just basic functionality, and this is back to the Internet of Things that. Basically, anytime you want to use a device, it has to report back to the mothership and say, well, is it okay if we do this? And I mean, you look at when was it that all those Nest devices just stopped working because Google decided they weren't going to support them anymore.
Yep.
And that's, you have a 50 to 60-inch television set in your living room, and all of a sudden they're like, well, you've had it for 3 years, and we'd really kind of like you to update, so it's not going to work until, you get the next one. And, these kinds of things, I think, are troublesome, and I don't think it bodes well for the future of technology. If every single thing that we have has to go back and report on what you're doing and where you're doing it, just for basic functionality, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
Sonos tried that, where they tried to say, oh, we can't, we're going to end our speakers and you have to buy a new speaker. And people got so mad, they backed away. But I was looking at some of the CES stuff. Oh, there's a Roomba that will tell you when you drop something on the floor. Okay. It's going somewhere on the internet, right? You got the TV that's reporting on you. I forgot. There's the Panda that was at CES. And you go to the website and it's a Chinese spy panda. And, the problem is that all these things are going to report back and tell people, whatever data it has and sell something about it. And it is problematic. You're right. When I turned off the internet again on that TV downstairs, it was like, oh, we can't work. I can't work unless the internet's on. And I'm like, I'm on an Apple TV. Knock it off, And so eventually I won, but it is a problem.
You shouldn't have to struggle like that, though.
Right. I know. It kept warning me. Oh, it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
For the most part, I don't think smart TVs have taken off in the way that the manufacturers thought that it was going to.
Yep.
I think people are still using, whether it's from Roku or Apple or from whoever, a lot of people are still using set-top boxes to get their content. And in a case like that, the TV is just a big, stupid monitor.
Right.
And that's how it should behave. If you have a set-top box,
Yeah.
your TV should just be a big, stupid monitor.
Right. I mean, I try to turn off the smart. I mean, I have the Samsung TVs and a Samsung monitor that has a smart TV built into it, and I just want to turn the damn thing off completely because it just takes over.
Yeah.
As much as I want to use the content, especially I have the smart TV back there so I can watch YouTube TV and put 4 games on over there and then put 4 games over here on my TV here. But then I got to deal with the nonsense that the smart TV does all the time as it takes over. So yeah, I agree with you on that stuff. So
yeah, well, my son Peter, we had like a 10-year-old 55-inch Vizio, and it was fine. It was only 1080, but it was okay. Well, for Christmas, he bought us a 50-inch Amazon Fire TV set, and it was because I have a Prime account, blah blah blah. It was relatively easy to set up, but at the same time, I know he didn't really spend all that much on it because he just got back from Japan from his honeymoon, so he can't afford it. And it's not that I'm ungrateful. I'm very grateful that he was thinking of us. I just get tired of entertainment devices that should work one way, working against me or in some way that I don't like.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I would prefer my TV lasts more than 2 years.
Yeah.
And the smarter the TV gets, the greater the chance that something gets discontinued after a couple of years, and then you're just out of luck. Half the functionality disappears because, I don't know, Google decides to discontinue the TV software or something.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
there's that too.
And what happened when your TV dies? You spent $300-400 on it. Okay, no one's going to repair it.
No.
Not for a TV that costs $300-400. So they'll just toss it in a landfill someplace and say, go buy a new TV set.
No, I've got 2 of my old Samsung, a 55-inch and a 65-inch curved. That's like over almost 10 years old. Both of them are 1080, and they're old. But I mean, they're getting long in the tooth for sure. And one TV doesn't turn it off and stuff. But anyway, that's it's here or there with TVs. I'll go off on tangent here.
This week in TV.
Yeah. So, one last thing I want to hit on before we move off of CES, I can probably spend 2 hours alone on all the stuff that was announced. I'm not doing that. Dell announced, and I love Dell monitors. The monitor I'm looking at you right now is a Dell U Series Ultra Sharp 34-inch curved, and I absolutely love it. They announced a massive 52-inch 6K display with Thunderbolt. It was part of CES's announcements with Dell. It features a 52-inch widescreen curved display that is equivalent to 128 pixels per density. Yows. And it's got a Thunderbolt hub monitor. And it's got the visual clarity, a resolution 129 ppi, 120 hertz refresh rate, and IPS black technology, rich blacks and colors, as well as is in less blue light compared to the competitors. So there's lots of ports on here. You go two HDMIs, 2 display ports, 1 Thunderbolt 4 upstream, and so on and so forth. Massive amounts of ports for that kind of size. You would expect that. But it's a little expensive at $28.99.
Yeah, but you can hub that off to another 52-inch monitor
and then have $6,000 worth of monitors. So
well, for your $1,200 Mac Mini.
So kind of fun. Mention that one. But there's some other monitors that are out there. Monitors are a big thing at CES when I was there, and it's always the technology changing. And I mean, let's face it, you should spend and invest a decent amount of money on a monitor if you're on. I use it all the time. I had originally bought the that smart one 32-inch, and I spent like $188. It was one of the closeouts. I think originally it was like $300 or something like that. But the image was just not crisp, and this. I can't go back now. This 34-inch is amazing. So this is really towards the way to go when you want to invest in that stuff. So, all right, there's a number of other things, but we're going to go ahead and move on with some news stories this week before we wrap up. Apple Store, it's moving in Montreal. Anybody been to Montreal? I've been there a number of times.
Never been to Canada.
I have been to all 3 big cities in Canada, actually, for work. I was.
Would love to.
You should. You're retired. You should go check all 3 cities out. Montreal's real old, nostalgic, and it's got a lot of just beautiful areas. The previous store I did, of course, visit, and it wasn't anything big. It was on St. Catherine is the big road that's in the heart of downtown. So they've now they're moving the store in downtown Montreal. It's a new location, and it's going to be on January 16th. It's in a historic building, which is at the corner of Rue St. Catherine and Rue de la Madeleine in Montreal, and it is the most populous city in the Canadian province of Quebec. So they have custom wallpaper on the site, which is kind of cool to check that out. And it's kind of cool to see this Apple continues to do that with openings. So then Apple Fitness Plus, Apple did announce launch new features for building exercise habits. A New Year's here, and many inspirations of improved health. And Apple Fitness Plus announced a variety of features to help users achieve their goals, including new multi-week programs to establish exercise habits. It's a pretty cool thing here that they've now teased these big things to come. So they've got some new other rumored health upgrades with iOS 27. So there's a lot of rumors here. So these are these are the 3 new programs that you're going to get: make your fitness comeback, build a yoga habit in 4 weeks, back to back strength and HIIT, and strength basics in 3 weeks. So you can look at the press release, check it out. But that is a cool thing that they're doing, and it seems fast that Apple Fitness Plus is just really clicking along here with a lot of people are into it. So, sure, if you remember anybody who had this microphone, it was it's the Shure MV88. It was plugged right into your iPhone, and they had the one with just the Lightning connector, but they never updated it for a long time. Well, they did. They did finally come out with a new version. It's the built-in one that's now with a USB-C, and this latest model is replacing that. And it's got with auto leveling, it's continuous adjust gain in real time to ensure audio is never too loud or too quiet. No need to have levels manually. And I know this isn't a mic for Guy because he has to have control. So
no, I understand it.
Yeah. So cool to have that mic if in a pinch. You know, I've had similar types of mics in the past, but it's good to see. Gmail, they now have 3 AI features that are included. That's with your personal account. It's the Help Me Write, which will allow users to enter prompts and draft entire emails from scratch, like Apple Intelligence's writing tools. And then Gmail's also rolling out personalized suggested replies. And the third free feature is going to be AI summaries, long email threads. And then you can do a summary of a conversation. Marty, are you seeing a lot of these trends, these types of features? The chat, a few of us are very heavy ChatGPT fans. Something like this to be more integrated. Would you like that?
Yeah, they come up. I see them pop up all the time when I'm doing emails or doing documents, and I think they're helpful. I generally do most of my work outside of, if I've got an important email to do, I will do most of my AI functioning outside of the actual program and then cut and paste when I'm ready to go with it. But yeah, I don't think you can have a communication product which doesn't offer AI assistance while you're working with it these days. That seems to be the trend.
Yeah. Anybody else? Guy, have you been doing a lot of that AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, Apple Intelligence?
I've been, all of the artwork for the G-Men show is done with, who is this?
Midjourney?
Bro.
Oh, Midjourney, yeah.
Yeah, and I've used ChatGPT. I mean, I did some avatars for Gaz and me.
So they actually turned out good.
Yeah, they did. They told it to do it in the style that Tex Avery would have drawn it, and it was like it's just hysterical.
Yeah.
For some simple like little bits tunes, if I need a 10-second bumper or something like that, I use Suno. But I try to keep it as much as I can to a minimum. I do sort of an AI story podcast called Tales from the AI Verse. But all I basically ask it ChatGPT to do is to give me an outline of a story, and then I basically, write it from there. But otherwise, I prefer to use my own brain for when I'm writing, which, to the detriment of, I guess, mankind in general. But it is more satisfying to do it myself than having some AI service do it for me.
Yeah. Anything else? Do you think you find this helpful with doing that with email and other apps?
I do when I don't care about it. So when I quit my last job, I thought it was going to go to my boss, my resignation email, and they said, no, it goes to an HR office in a place I've never been, to people I don't know. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to spend time then making a nice email. So I just had ChatGPT write it. Thanks for all the fishes. And so I do find it handy when you're not, when you're just trying to get something done and you're not trying to email your best friend. But, yeah. No, I think it's great. I do.
All right. And then the last story here I wanted to hit on really quick is, I guess, another ChatGPT discussion here. You can generate Apple Music playlists with ChatGPT. Apple Music is now available as an extension within ChatGPT, meaning you can search for songs, create playlists, and discover new music through OpenAI's chatbot. Here's how to do it, and is it worth using? ChatGPT's integration with Apple Music has potential to change how you discover music and let you describe what you're looking for in natural language. And instead of typing in specific search terms, you would just in Apple Music, you would actually just tell the chatbot to like upbeat 80s or road trip or any of that kind of stuff. So it creates the playlist and actually will it will have the extension, and then it does allow you to. You can search the catalog if you don't have an Apple Music subscription, but and it will listen to 30-second preview clips, but you'll have to have an active subscription to do that. So, and it goes through all the steps of how to add to it and all that stuff, which is cool. I've tried it, and it's actually pretty gosh darn good, because I even have, I'm obsessed with music sometimes. You should see my bookshelf back here with all the Joel Whitberg's the record research books with the Billboard charts and all that stuff. So I pulled out a little booklet I had of a playlist specific to some music, took a picture of it, uploaded that picture, it created the playlist and it added it to Apple Music. So you had that playlist right there. I think this was the one I picked was other bands that that covered Beatles. It was Beatles covers. It had every song, and it put it in. And it was boom. It was done. All those years of me spending all the manual time of putting all these playlists together. And, oh my gosh, it was crazy. So what do you guys think of this?
I'll give it a try. If it's convenient to use within Apple Music.
Yeah,
I remember iTunes having something like this at one point, where you could ask iTunes to find you stuff. Now it's not as sophisticated as the LLMs are now,
right.
But there was a point where there was a sidebar and you could share, and some of the similar things that you see with Spotify. I'm interested in this, but I don't want to discover new artists.
Okay.
I want to find connections to old artists that I've since forgotten.
Yep.
So I might have to put a time limit on it. It's like you can't give me anything past 1999.
Yeah.
And yeah, not just Prince, but just anything past the year 1999.
Right.
Yeah. And make those connections, because right now the music I'm listening to, there's a few artists that I really like. Talking Heads. I got a Talking Heads shirt on.
Yeah, have that shirt.
That you can't. That's off camera. You can't see. And some of those artists from that time period. And then I'm trying to get more and more into jazz and instrumental jazz. So it's more historic than contemporary.
Okay. Anybody else? Something you tried?
Played with it.
Yeah.
And created, I said, these are some songs I like, and then it said, and then it said, well, would you like me to create a station for you? And I said, sure, that'd be great. And so it's been good. And the other thing that it found is I said I liked Boston. Mm-hmm. And it found, and, Boston has a limited set because they broke up and, things. And it found this other band, and it turns out that's where the guy who's the guitar guy from Boston went to this other band. And he had a
RTZ.
bunch of albums.
RTZ, yeah.
RTZ. And I'm like, I had no idea.
Very good.
It was cool.
And Brad Delp.
And I think their vocalist went too.
Brad Delp, yep.
Yeah. Well, before he passed.
Right.
Before he passed. That was the guy who went to it, yeah.
Yep.
Right.
So, all right. Well, that is all we've got for this week of the show. But before we go, we want to make sure we find out where everybody can be found. I'm going to start with Guy Serle. Where can people find you?
Oh, I'm so easy to find. Just look up the G-Men show on the podcatcher of your choice, and it'll probably turn up. You can go over and see the nearly 700 videos now that I have over at YouTube under the channel name Vert Shark. That's where I post very, very late videos from the G-Men Show podcast. Goodness. You can talk to me via Twaxter. I'm Mac Parrot there, or over at the Skies of Blue, where I'm also Mac Parrot.
All right. Thanks for being here. And
thank you for inviting me.
Yes, always. So happy. Eric Bolden, where can people find you when you're not traveling the back roads of Montana?
Yeah. I can be found on Mastodon at EABOLDEN at MAS.TO. Otherwise, Mondays, playing in virtual space on Vision Profiles. Tuesdays on Mac Voices. And then, of course, here rounding out the week on In Touch with iOS.
Yes. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Marty Jencius, thank you for being here as always. Thanks. We appreciate it. Where can people find you?
Well, you can connect with me at Jencius, Jencius, on Mastodon and also on BlueSky. Vision Profiles Monday nights with Eric and Dave. Tuesdays with Chuck on In Touch with on Mac Voices, and Thursdays In Touch with iOS. The other podcasts that I do, you can all find under the website thepodtalk.net.
And last but certainly not least, Jill McKinley. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Where can people find you?
Well, you can find me right here on Thursday nights, but you can find me at Jill at the North Woods. You can email me. I have podcasts. I have YouTube channels every night of the week, every day of the week. And I'm also found on Twitter. I mostly talk about faith and science and tech.
Jill was here tonight?
Oh.
She was here. My bad. So now we can wrap up. That's a wrap for this week. You can please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on BlueSky and Mastodon. It's at In Touch with iOS. Support the show. Buy me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We'd really appreciate it. You can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers available to support the show. We'd really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you're notified when we're live streaming, which is Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific, on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/intouchwithios, where you can watch the current and past live streams and listen to past shows. You can subscribe to the show in your favorite podcatcher, including Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Overcast, and many others. But better yet, just go to our website, which is intouchwithios.com, where all the links to ways to listen to us are there on that site. And I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Vision Profiles on Monday nights doing the Vision Pro thing. Tuesday nights on Mac Voices Live, on hanging out with these fine folks as well. Again, I mentioned we record this show on Thursdays, and I'm also on the British Tech Network, the Mac Show, on Fridays. And you definitely can check us out on all those places. And now I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can now find me at BlueSky and at Mastodon at DaveG65. And thanks so much for listening, for being here. We really appreciate you being here, and we'll talk again soon.